can hear the airwaves. It's that WBOK 12:30 a.m.
From the campus of Xavier University, WBOK Go and Equity Media Station.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Minnesota Somali American Congresswoman Ilhan Omar is firing back at President Trump over his immigration remarks on CBS's Face the Nation. Omar called Trump's comments disgusting.
This level of dehumanizing can lead to dangerous actions by people who listen to the president.
The president claimed Somali immigrants have ruined Minnesota and said Omar should have never been in Congress. A grand jury has again declined to indict Black New York Attorney General Letitia James over mortgage fraud claims. Earlier charges of bank fraud and false statements were dismissed. James denies wrongdoing. And President Trump honored this year's Kennedy Center recipients at the White House Saturday, presenting medals to Sylvester Stallone, Gloria Gaynor, and rock band Kiss. Country star George Strait and actor Michael Crawford were also recognized. Trump later joined the honorees for a State Department dinner. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
It's now time for Let's Elevate, the Arnie and Cary Show with Arnie Filko and Cary Grant.
Good evening, everyone. On
Good
this
evening.
Tuesday evening, I am Arnie Filko,
And I'm Cary Grant.
and we are here with Elevated Conversations. We've been gone for a few days,
Yes,
but
we have. But we're back now.
we are definitely back and hopefully going to present an entertaining show for you tonight. So much going on in our community and our country, so we're going to talk about a lot of that. But,
Yes.
you know, it's got to start out with some light stuff.
Absolutely.
You know, it's Christmas time. It's the
Yes.
holiday season,
Yes.
you know, which I think is the best of the year. This time everybody's in a good mood for the most part and,
Right.
you know, getting ready for their, you know, a lot of parties around town.
Absolutely. Almost every day there's going to be something coming up. So
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's nice. You
Yeah.
know, we don't have the change of seasons like the North does, but
No.
you know what? It's very warm here. And when I mean warm, not temperature warm, it's warm just the people, you know,
Oh, yeah.
this
yeah,
time of the
yeah.
year.
There's lots of good things to do here, too. You know, Christmas in the Oaks, as everybody knows, is big. The Lafreniere Park has the lights and everything. And anything about doing things with kids. And I mean, here we have a great tradition that's coming up in a few weeks where you have the bonfires on the riverfront,
Yeah,
which, I
yeah.
mean, you know, has turned into a huge enterprise now.
And they
They
had one
actually-
in Algiers over the weekend.
Yeah, and I mean, so those types of things that are different and unique to our city and our area, but I mean, good Christmas things for the family to do.
Yeah, we went out a couple of years ago to the bonfire in, was that St. Charles Parish, I think it is?
Yes.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's
a big event.
it is a really big event and very, like you say, Cary, really unique to this area.
Yeah, absolutely. You will not find people lighting fires for Papa Noel in Ohio.
No, no. Well, first of all, it's
Yeah.
too cold
Right.
to even go outside
Right.
in some
Right.
of these cities right now. You know, you look at the temperatures, my God, and
Yeah.
in some parts of the country, I mean, temperatures are, you know,
In the
almost
teens.
hitting below zero.
Yeah.
And wind chill and everything else. But, you know, it's been pretty comfortable here in 50s, 60s. We could handle this. And
Yeah, I mean, if we could just stay on a even keel with somewhere between the 60s and the 70s, we'd be fine.
yeah.
That's the only thing. It just goes. It's like a 30-degree swing over the next 24 hours.
Yeah.
That's going to be.
Well, I know you had a big weekend. You traveled
Yes.
a little bit. And
Yes, I went to Dallas-Fort Worth for the TCU Notre Dame basketball game, which went into overtime. We had a great seat. Was very close to the action, and you know, Arnie, these college basketball players are pretty big these days.
Uh-huh.
You know, so it was good to see that. Unfortunately, I was a guest of some people from TCU, and they lost in overtime, but it was an exciting game all the way down to the wire. And then we went to Tampa Bay for the Tampa Bay game, and of course, it was because I was there. The Saints were victorious. That's the way
was the reason.
way I'm looking at it. And but I just want everybody to know we have a beautiful stadium, beautiful dome stadium, newly renovated. They have a sort of newly renovated stadium, but it's outdoor, and it rained the entire game.
So you like the Superdome?
So I like the Superdome a lot better. Tampa, build yourself a dome. I'm telling you, you need it.
Well, for baseball, they've been trying to bid. They do have a dome, actually.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
people hate it
Nobody
for
wants to go.
baseball. Nobody wants to go there because they want to be outside for baseball, but not football, not this time of year.
No.
Well, I had a very interesting weekend. Between Children's Hospital had a great parade, and
yes.
Saturday, actually two really interesting. So one is, you remember after Katrina, the organization Acorn, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Was here
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
city doing really great work, and it's now, I don't know if they've merged or the intersection exactly, but it's called a Community Voice, and
Okay.
and they had a holiday party, and it was really nice to see some of the activists that
Okay.
have been working for 20 years plus,
Yeah.
since Katrina,
That's
and
great.
and to celebrate it with the community in the Ninth Ward. That was really nice. And then I went to the what they call the Sukar Ball, the Sugar Ball.
Yeah.
If you've ever
Okay.
been,
Yeah.
it's the Hispanic Heritage Foundation. And it was unbelievable. I mean, you had a lot of the leaders of our city, include our mayor-elect was there, and many other leaders, and a lot of the Hispanic leadership, and just a beautiful event at a time, as we're going to talk about tonight, that's not so great for the Hispanic community.
It's pretty tense for the Hispanic community right now. Yes, that's true.
So I want to start, Cary. Conspiracies abound. I love listening. I'm kind of a media junkie, so I'll listen to this and this and this and this, and I heard some things today that I think need some clarification. Let me say it there, clarification.
Okay.
All right. So first of all, David Hammer from the WWL CBS station here.
Yes.
Did an investigative report on the budget, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And he talked about how did we get in the budget mess? We know some of the sources. We knew the overtime, 45 million, okay? But there was still 160 total, so the one question was, where is the other 120 million? Where did it go? Well, the investigative report showed that a large chunk of that came from this federal program that you're familiar with called JIRR.
Yeah.
And what the city did is it basically borrowed money from the general fund in order to pay for road repairs, to get the projects moving, because there is a deadline of actually another week, a couple weeks.
Yeah, by the end of the year.
Which we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But they basically took a huge amount of money out of the general fund with the idea that it would be reimbursed and that they could replenish it. Well, that didn't happen. All right. They did not get the money back. They may have got some of it, but a lion's share they did not. And it has caused a lot of problems.
Yeah.
So I hear some of the media people really casting a lot of blame on the city council, to be honest. So let's clarify some things. Number one, we have a mayor still, I think, okay? We still have an executive branch of government that, at least as I see it, I don't think they've done their job for months here, okay? Not all of them. I'm not imputing all of them. But this is not a city council issue. This was an administration issue, all right? This falls under the mayor's office, under the CAO's office. And, the problem that we've had here, you've heard about the payroll issues, and we had to take out a $100 million revenue bond and loan in order to get by that. Well, the reason we're in that mess is because that $100 million or so came from this JIRR, never got replenished, and therefore created this once-in-a-lifetime cash crunch that during your tenure we never had.
Yeah.
I mean...
Yeah, just to kind of clarify a little bit about the differences. This 120, the same numbers always throw people off too. But this 120 is about cash flow. This is about cash money.
Yes.
Not budgetary issues that are about the budget.
Not budget. Yes.
I just want to
the
make
budget
that
was $160 million.
Yeah, that was bad enough. But
Right.
this is a whole other number. What this did is because of the rapid trying to get these projects underway and completed or whatever stage they would be at quickly before the deadline, which is December 31st, for those projects to be able to be reimbursed by the feds. If they're going to be reimbursed, they end December 31st.
And that's a big if, by the way.
If they're going to be reimbursed, and if you get an extension, are two big
Another
questions.
if.
They're
Yes.
huge questions. So what happened was they went forward with these projects. The city administration, as you said, Arnie, went forward with these projects, utilized funds that were available in the cash flow to front these projects on the assumption that they would be reimbursed to the tune of $120 million.
Yeah.
So what it means is they've spent or committed to $120 million worth of work, and they don't have the resources coming back to them fast enough, or are going to come back to them fast enough to cover that 100.
So here's the analogy, Cary. Not a perfect analogy, but
Sure.
this is Cary Grant deciding to get on an airplane and go to Vegas, okay? Or maybe he could just go down to Biloxi. He doesn't have to go to. And he pulled out about $120 million or $100 million or whatever it is of the Grant portfolio without Deborah knowing about it.
That's just a drop in the bucket.
All right. And he went to the slot tables and threw some dollars down
Yeah.
and bet on the come that, well, I'm going to win. I'm going to get that money back. No problems. And I'll replenish the Grant.
With the winnings. And I'll keep the winnings on top of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's basically, folks, what we did here. We took city operational money, your tax money, by the way, because that's what funds it, okay?
Yeah.
We took city funds, general funds here. We went and paid down road repairs under a federal program that, to be honest, very, very few people in the city have ever heard of, okay, unless you're inside baseball here.
Yeah.
And then was hoping that we'd get reimbursement for it. We'd be able to replenish it. Therefore, we wouldn't have a cash flow problem. We wouldn't have a payroll problem.
Right.
None of that happened, okay? Which caused us to have to go out and basically borrow the $120 million from the state of Louisiana so that we can cover payroll and not have had a disaster for the last 2 months of this year.
The big problem with these projects was there was a cash flow setup that was set up from the Landry administration for these projects. These projects were not supposed to all happen all at once. They were supposed to happen in a certain succession that you would still have some reimbursables and some things taken from the general fund, but smaller bites that would be replenished. You can't, you literally cannot put out hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars worth of road work or whatever this is, infrastructure work, and say that you're going to get it all back quickly from the federal government. It would never have happened that way in the first place.
Well, the administration erred in a couple ways.
Sure.
All right. They were under a deadline here.
Yes.
Again, December 31 of
Yes.
not next year, but this year. 2025 is a federal deadline for spending the money and doing the repairs. So
that's correct.
They made the decision, the administration, Mayor Cantrell and her team made the decision, we don't want to lose that money.
Right.
We need street repairs to be done. Let's borrow from one pot in order to be able to go and do that. Otherwise, we're basically going to lose the money.
Yeah.
The problem is that you're playing with fire here because you don't have the federal government, FEMA. And look, with the federal government,
the way it is now,
you can't predict anything anymore.
Can't predict that. No. Yes,
but you don't have the federal government guaranteeing that they are going to reimburse you,
right.
And they don't have the federal government even guaranteeing they're going to extend out a deadline past December 31.
Right.
And David Hammer exposed this. Okay, he brought it to light. They interviewed the mayor-elect, who was sitting with the state legislative auditor. And she and I have no reason to disbelieve this at all. She says, I can't believe what happened here. This is for all the people that have been wondering, where did the money go? We knew the overtime, and that was kind of easy to understand.
Yeah.
But that still left $120 million more of a deficit from last year. Well, now we kind of know where that money went and why we have problems. And just again, as you said, so that people don't get confused.
Yeah.
There's 3 issues here, totally separate issues. One was the deficit on the budget in 2025,
Right.
which was $160 million.
Yes.
That's number one. Number two, basically a deficit of another $100 million in order to handle payroll because we did not have the cash flow in our bank accounts to pay for the last 2 months of the year.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And then third, which is coming, is 2026,
Yes.
where where the city council cut the budget significantly to about $800 million in general budget
Yeah.
in order to have a balanced budget that meets the revenue projections so
Yeah.
that we don't go yet another year into deficit.
Right. Right. But like I said, the issue with this street program, and the only thing that I'll agree to is that the council and oversight in some of these other issues, that is truly council oversight. And there are some problems with how that happened. On a program like this, that is an administrative program, that is something within the administration, it is not the council's oversight of that program while it's operating. That issue and the issue of where the money is being taken from, because it is okay to take money from the general fund's coffers to do reimbursables, but you can't do them to a level where you can't get it back. And as you and I both know, with FEMA being what FEMA is under the Trump administration and GOSEP being in control from the Trump administration, the state is not holding out on the city. They're being told to hold out on the city. These programs are in jeopardy all over the country.
They are. I mean, federal
in
funds.
some other places in the state, the same things happen.
Yeah, I mean, federal funds are truly in jeopardy under the administration.
So that part is, from my point of view, this is just me saying this, but I think from my point of view, inside of the capital program being funded and how it's being operated is not an oversight of the council issue.
I agree.
Until it becomes this problem.
Yeah. Well, you've had every member of the council. I mean, again, there are some people in media want to basically give the mayor a free pass here. I'm not going to do that. Every member of the council, every one of them, has said we didn't know about any of this. We were never told. We did not have oversight of this area.
And they would
not.
From my experience. And the other part of it is, this is truly an administrative thing. This is truly something that is happening within the deputy CAO, who was Joe Threat, who was over infrastructure, the CAO, former CAO, Gilbert Montano. Those people are the ones who made that decision to use those funds in that way to try and beat this deadline. So, I mean, really, literally, that's
I would
where
think
this stuff
you
is.
and I have talked about Joe Thread because I think he's walked into a mess and done a yeoman's job.
No, I agree.
I'm not sure that I would lay this on him because he kind of came in mid-year. Half the year was gone already by the tape Gilbert had left.
What I'm saying about him is just, and I know Joe really well, what he was doing was trying to attempt to make the program work that he was in charge of. He was allowed to do it this way. I mean, that's not a decision he would make in the role he was in before.
I mean, that's a mayor's decision,
That's what I'm saying.
right?
He would not make a decision of, we're going to use general fund to this level.
But, Cary, that's the problem. I mean, again, for the last how many months, year, we've had an absent mayor, okay? I'm sorry. I'm going to be honest about this. I mean, we don't see her. Decisions are made like this that nobody knows about. The council doesn't know about it. The public doesn't know about it.
Right.
And the poor workers in City Hall who are being threatened with not having enough money in November and December.
Sure.
They're the ones that are hurt by this. I just find ridiculous. One more. We're gonna talk some other stuff here. The word auditor and audit. Let me clarify this. We have a state legislative auditor. He has been brought in the last 30 days in order to solve this cash crunch issue because we would not have got the state help without his involvement.
Yeah.
All right? He's now involved in the deficit issue. He's looking at that. He played a hand in the crafting of next year's budget, and he got us past a major hurdle here. All right? That's the state legislative auditor. Now, let's not get that confused with an audit. We do an audit. Are you kidding me? The city must do an audit, just like a nonprofit has to do an audit.
Yes.
We do an audit every year. Carrie, you know this because you're part of it. And when there are irregularities and problems and stuff, that is exactly why a city, a municipality, has to do an audit. All right, we'll come back in just a minute. Love to hear from you on the other side if we could.
Hey WBOK family, Ron Richardson here, host of Conversations with Ron Richardson. Join me this Saturday live from 9 a.m. until 10 a.m. as I welcome Mr. Eric T. Lewis, entrepreneur and mental health advocate. He will be joining me to talk about mental health and black men right here on WBOK 1230 AM, streaming worldwide on WBOK1230.com. Please tune in and thanks for your continued love and support. And remember, healing and recovery start with you.
'Tis the season to be compassionate and joyful. Be sure to spend your Christmas day with us at WBOK as we bring to you 24 hours of commercial-free holiday music, beginning at 10 p.m. on Christmas Eve and all day on Christmas. Let WBOK bring joy and happiness to you with our holiday music on this festive occasion. You can tune in at WBOK 1230 AM and on the World Wide Web at WBOK1230.com. Happy holidays to you and yours from everyone here at WBOK, what New Orleans is talking about. That's right. It's party time each and every Sunday night at 7 p.m. on WBOK. It's the Throwback Throwdown with DJ Wick as he brings you the best in old school from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and the early 2Ks. Plus, the party goes to another level at 9 p.m. with the Throwback Throwdown Party Mix to round out the night. It's the Throwback Throwdown Sunday nights at 7 p.m. on WBOK and on the World Wide Web at WBOK1230.com.
On Auto Trends with JeffCars.com, here's a snippet of some of what we cover. GPS Pioneer Gladys West.
We worked long hours computing trajectory orbits and satellite orbits, trying to get the data and everything correct enough.
Auto Analyst Mark Bland.
14 new vehicle deals that happen in this country out of every 100 that women don't have a fingerprint on.
To tune in, check out Auto Trends with JeffCars.com, Saturdays at 4 p.m. on WBOK, what New Orleans is talking about.
WBOK, online at WBOK1230.com.
Hi, this is DJ Wick, production manager and the host of the Throwback Throwdown in the Love Zone, wishing you and yours a very happy holiday season.
The Arnie and Cary Show with Arnie Philco and Cary Grant.
All right, good evening. We're back. Don, hold on just for 1 minute. I want to make one more clarification, okay, on some things. You know, there's been a lot made over the last week since our mayor-elect announced the deputy mayors and our new CAO. And, you know, I've heard all this criticism that in the midst of this budget issue and all of that, how can we afford to pay 5 deputy mayors and a chief administrative officer? Well, let me put some reality into fact, okay? First of all, Joe Giarrusso, who I have a lot of respect for, and I think we as a city are very, very fortunate to have him coming in as our new CAO, is not making $100,000 more than predecessors. Now, he may be making more money than the current CAO or the interim CAO, Joe Threat, who started his job, midsummer or something.
Yeah.
All right. But Gilbert Montano, who was the CAO,
yes,
I don't exactly know his number to precise, but I can almost predict to you he made at more or at least equal to what the current or the incoming CAO is making. Number one. Number two is, in case you missed it, one of the things our mayor-elect has said is that she's going to have to reduce, I think it's like 17 unclassified positions under the mayor's office.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So before we start critiquing Helena here, let's look at the net total numbers. I want to find out what are the savings of those 17. Then you have to look at what's the total cost of the 5 deputy mayors and this new CAO. My guess, my best guess, okay, is going to be that we have a net reduction of cost. We're not adding cost at a time of of budget problems, we're actually reducing the cost. You can't look at it in a vacuum and say, well, the CEO is making a lot more than the current CEO. Yeah, but he's not making as much potentially as the one that we had for the last 6 years.
Well, the thing about it, and I just want to say on top of that, the issue of, and I would have said this to anybody who won for mayor, any one of the three candidates, my recommendation would have been to consolidate positions, to consolidate jobs. And that's really what this is going to be. When these deputy mayors come in, they may have had other offices underneath them that had leadership, like the Office of Children and Families. Now, I understand, I think that's going to be under the purview of Jennifer Avegno in her role as the deputy mayor. So that means that that person who was on top of that office, who was a six-figure salary, will not be there anymore.
Yes, that is a great point.
Those things, and I'm with you, Arnie. I mean, I only reserve judgment until I can see facts. You know what I mean? If it's bloated, we'll say it on this show.
Yeah, we will.
But if it's not, we need to see what is going to be eliminated to make up the difference.
Yeah, we need to look at the net. You don't look at one position in a vacuum. And
It's been clear that there were going to be, as we would call it, efficiencies that were going to be made by whoever was the mayor-elect.
No
was
question.
going to make efficiencies.
We're forced. We're forced into it.
Now you're forced into it, but it was going to happen anyway. So I think that what you're saying is true.
Well, but I just want to make sure for our listening audience, don't buy into the agenda, because there are agendas out there. I got to tell you, in this city, the agenda that that the new mayor coming in is going to have this bloated budget and at the expense of the $30,000-$40,000 city hall worker. That isn't the case at all. Okay.
One thing that you can be guaranteed, and this is from my budget expertise for 30 years, is this will not be bloated because it's already cut. So,
That's right.
There's already reductions.
Because they cut 100
and there will be more reductions as they go forward.
Absolutely.
I just guarantee that will happen.
Gary, let's take Don here.
Sure. Hello.
Don, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Are you there?
Yes, we are here. Sorry we kept you waiting. Just wanted to make a point.
No, I enjoy it. No problem. I just wanted to call in. Had a couple of questions. And Mr. Felco, you might have to recuse yourself.
Uh-oh. This is scary.
You might have to. But I had a couple of questions when you relate to the city and all cities, not just isolated to New Orleans. I want people to realize that. But the actual business dealings and agreements, when we talk about reimbursing cities for the services under contract, and what does it mean when you talk about money, the U.S. dollar, the full faith and credit of the U.S. government? What does that mean when you talk about relationships with cities investing money in roads and infrastructure with the full faith that the government is going to reimburse them, but you put it into the political realm? All the infrastructure, the $1 trillion, what was it, the $1.some trillion?
Yes,
infrastructure bill that Joe Biden and the Congress passed, bipartisanship.
Yes.
Now the Republicans are clawing that back. They're reneging on the full faith and credit of the U.S. government.
Yeah.
Well, let's take
here's the other question.
Wait. Let's stay.
You can handle it.
Wait, Don, hold the second question. You're making a good point. I mean, the reality is, at least under this administration in Washington, the full faith and credit could be X on one day and Y on the next day.
Yes,
and that's a real problem. I mean, look at the universities, how much money has been taken back from them all over the country. But in this particular case for New Orleans, I mean, we received federal money, or we were hopeful of having federal money that would allow us to make our roads much better. And we had the anticipation, I'm sure, as a city, that we would get that money back.
Yes.
But the reality is we didn't.
And we always have in the past. So that this program was not being done. It was just being done on a larger scale than before, quickly. But it's been a program that we've had for years, and the reimbursements would come, but they would take time to come. They're in doubt now.
Yep.
Right. And we're talking about my other question or observation, really, is when we talk about the dollar is no longer backed by a commodity, gold or silver. It is called a fiat currency. As all these so-called modern countries have a fiat currency. That means not backed by nothing but what? The public trust. The public has to trust the government to do what they say they're going to do when they say they're going to do it. Not play politics with the public trust, because it's for the people. Okay, it's not for Democrats, Republicans, and all that. It's for the people. And if a previous administration with bipartisan support has inked these deals, but you want to do clawbacks and yet give the wealthy corporations, do you know 99.9% of businesses are small businesses? But you don't get corporations tax cuts. Well, 99.9%, you don't get a 1/10 of the wealthy a tax cut, and 1/10 of a percent of the wealthy corporations a tax cut, and you'll get a 1% of the wealthy families a tax cut. But we're supposed to have the full trust, the full faith and trust in the dollar, and the full faith and trust in the government. And you're going to blame one individual or one administrator? It is preposterous to blame people for a downfall or failure of a system to operate for the public trust.
Well,
it's a
good point.
This is a public trust failure.
It is a good point you're making, but my critique of our current administration is you went out on a limb. I gave you the analogy of going to the craps table. You went out on a limb. You bet you were going to get that money from the federal government, and you didn't. And you put the city at great peril, and you put our employees of the city at great peril.
And Don, one thing I'll say about this too, these are all based on laws, like you said about the infrastructure bill and the FEMA stuff. They're based on laws and rules and regulations that have already been promulgated that are basically being said they don't mean anything. The Congress passed laws that said how these funds would be spent, how they would work, and that type of thing. And then it's just being done by, to use your same word, by fiat from the current administration saying, well, that's not the way we're doing it. So that's the fake trust.
Let me say this. When John Bell Edwards, the governor before this, left office, was there not a $2 billion surplus?
Yes, there was a lot of money
So
left
what's the
in the
budget
state.
now for the state?
I don't know, but it's not that.
It's going down quickly.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
all right,
Don,
thank you, gentlemen. I'm enjoying your show. Enjoy.
Yeah,
it.
hey, thank you, Don. Thanks for calling. Appreciate it. Oh, I can never find it. Oh, there it is. You know, the other thing that's related to what Don was talking about is for the first time that I can remember, you know, in Washington, you have a budget that gets passed every year.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, they have to approve it. It's Democrats
October
and
1st.
Republicans.
Yes.
This is the first time that I remember in maybe our history where the executive branch of the federal government, the White House, can basically come in and say, well, you guys passed that budget, but we're not going to spend it. We're not going to use it.
We're not going to abide by it at all. Yeah.
I've never seen anything like that because that is completely unconstitutional. That is not the role of the executive branch of government.
Absolutely. It's really a very, very bad point where you have a lot of system situations that even when things are funded, some of the things that these people like some funds for the Defense Department or those type of things, because the execution is so poor, those things aren't happening. So some of these other things, it's very easy for them not to happen because I think FEMA's leadership doesn't even know what's going on. I've heard these stories from the city, from FEMA state people. Their hands are tied literally because they're getting no guidance on what to do.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this asking for an extension even, which has been a usual easy thing to get, you know, not easy, but just has been a routine performance thing. They don't even know if they're getting through to the people who need to do the approval. I mean, look at what's going on with Congress right now, Arnie. We both know this. You have days before the ACA thing is going to run out, and they're still squabbling and going back and forth. Who knows if that'll get done? And that's more important than this stuff, to be honest.
That's the next topic here. I just want to say, to your point, I had a Zoom meeting this afternoon on the Ninth Ward Stadium.
Yeah.
Because part of that money comes from HUD. It's through a federal program.
Gotcha.
We're on our fourth administrator in Washington.
Exactly.
And, it makes us a little nervous,
Yeah.
You never know, honestly, if something's going to be honored, not honored. It should be.
Right.
But you never know sometimes.
You really don't with this group. And it's very hard to deal with that. Like I said, a lot of these reimbursements and maybe a ton of money would come from the state because the state holds FEMA funds for the feds, but they have to get approval to release them. So the issue is, I think the state's more than ready to do some of these big reimbursements, but they can't do them, and this is causing a huge problem all over the state. I mean, we're only focused on Louisiana, and that's what we should be focused on in our city. But this is happening in other parishes where they're doing repairs from Ida and those type of things. I mean, they're in the same boat. They're literally in the same boat.
Yeah.
So this is causing a lot of trouble.
Well, we'll close out this part of the discussion just with the last point I want to make, which is, look, we have an informed, educated constituency in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
Pay attention, okay? Pay attention to what the agendas are of people when they make statements. Pay attention to real facts here. Look, I'm not going to apologize. I'm excited about the future of our state. I'm excited about our new leadership and our new mayor coming in. She hasn't even taken office yet, okay? Yet people want to throw daggers at her and her team and what she's doing. I've been pretty darn impressed for 3 months. And I think if she delivers the same way she's done in this interim period and really devotes the attention to the nitty-gritty of government and infrastructure, I think this city's going to elevate in a way that the people are going to be pretty happy.
Yeah, I think what her forte and her acumen is in communications. Let's face it, that's her strength. And everybody has a strength as mayors. People might not believe that all the time, but everybody has something that is their forte. And I think that some of these type of issues, like you said, about pay and those type of things, I'm not convinced that this group will not explain that in the proper way to the public. I think that part of the issue right now is we've lived in such a non-transparent era of politics locally that people are very used to not getting the real story. So all kinds of things become
Don said it very well. It's unfortunate. We have a lack of trust.
Yeah.
I mean, and you could go anywhere in New Orleans, depending upon where you are, who you're talking to, and we just don't trust each other. Certain parts of the community think that our mayor-elect is going to do this, and this in a good way. Mm-hmm. Some feel that she's not. Right. All I'm saying is I don't want to start critiquing until somebody gets into office. And and look, it's got to be hard. I mean, you're the next mayor of the city. You have to deal with budget because it's yours. You can't just say, well, it's the current mayor. Yeah. You got to deal with it, yet you're not the mayor yet, okay? And that is a real problem of this transition that we're doing. I think we're handling it decently.
Yeah.
But it is not normal to have that kind of transition.
No, it's really not. And usually you wouldn't be working on anything that had, even though she's a council member, you wouldn't be working on a lot of things that had to do with the former administration's perfunctory things like budget. If this was a situation like the financial crisis of 2008 or something, epic had happened, most new people would step in. But for the most part, you just wait till your turn. But, this was unprecedented. You wait till your turn, and who knows what your turn looks like.
You couldn't afford to wait this time.
So
all right, let's talk about what you referenced, which is kind of taking a back seat here, but it shouldn't, all right, which is if people remember when the government was shut down,
right,
the way we reopened it is the Senate promised the Democrats that if they came back, there would be a vote, not an approval, but a vote on an extension of the subsidies of the Affordable Care Act, which affect a tremendous number of people.
42 million people.
42, of which in Louisiana we have a disproportionate share of that. That vote is going to come up.
Yeah.
All right. And all indications is that the Republicans, both in the Senate and in the House, are not going to give the Democrats what they want. What the Democrats have said is give us a 3-year extension.
Right.
And then we can work on Obamacare.
Yes.
Okay. But we need some time to breathe because literally in another week, the entire Congress is home, okay, for the holidays.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know how you're going to pass a historic health bill in 5 days
right,
here.
Right. And there are two conflicting bills in Congress alone, which basically go back to exactly where we were before the shutdown. One Democratic and one Republican, which are totally opposing bills that neither side will vote for either one of them. So you're right back where you started. There's no bipartisan bill at all out there that anybody's sat across the aisle from each other and said, let's, kind of thread the needle just to get to, even if, like Arnie, if the biggest piece was 3 years, which it's not, but if it was just 3 years, nobody's saying, well, what about a year? Nobody's working to get to the bottom.
I'm hoping somebody within the building.
I'm just saying they should be.
It should be. To me, that's probably a compromise.
Yeah,
it's just do a 1-year extension, clean as can be.
Breathe and get your arms wrapped around.
Because look, Democrats and Republicans, I think everybody understands that there are some tweaks with the ACA and
that need to happen.
Yeah, and Senator Cassidy and the gentleman senator from Florida, they have different bills and ideas, but they're very similar, which is basically instead of subsidizing giving money to the insurance industry, just give it to the taxpayers.
Yeah.
I don't know enough to be honest if that's good or bad. I've heard that before, but there does seem to be some energy towards that. But it's going to take some time. You can't rush this thing in 4 days here.
Yeah, the thing I think is that this is one of those things. If you're looking at it from a political point of view, and Trump's approval rating is 34%, and if you're looking at where you're going with Congress and all these things with farm subsidies that are gone and people losing their jobs and holidays staring people in the face where they can't buy gifts for their family and everything, if this happens, this is like the third rail of politics to me. This will mean lots of y'all will lose your jobs in 2026, and this will mean total abandonment of the Republican side of this because you will basically be cutting people's health care off.
You will. Yeah. We are, today is the 9th of December.
And by the 31st,
we are 22 days away from a close. And you're right. The most important thing is people are going to get hurt by this.
Yes.
But the other thing that's going to happen, government's going to shut down again. Yes. Okay?
Right.
If they don't reach a compromise.
I have that silly side.
Yes, sir.
As soon as you said losing health care, I can hear him now. Don't take away my Obamacare.
Well,
that's exactly what it's going to be.
Well, some people said, I don't like Obamacare, but I like ACA. It's like, so you didn't even know what you were on. So but it's a real issue.
A lot of people, especially those Republicans, are going to be hurt.
Absolutely. This state will really feel the pain from this.
Yes, especially the low income.
On top of Medicaid and all the other things, health care in this state will become a real issue.
Yeah.
Huge issue.
Well, even at the state level today, this kind of, under the radar news, but
sure.
Our Medicaid program, we took out and lost.
Yeah.
I think it was United Healthcare.
Yeah.
Which is it was the second biggest Medicaid provider in the state of Louisiana.
Yeah.
Now, they may replace that. I don't know.
Right.
But again, when you're reading all this, and if you're on Medicaid and you're reading that, we're taking these services, and if you're on Medicare, you're already hurting on a lot of areas.
Right.
You're wondering what the heck come January 1
will I be dealing?
Am I dealing with from a health standpoint? And that's not where they want to be. And I do agree with you. I think the Republicans, because they're in office, stand the most to lose here politically. But I got to tell you, there's going to be people around the country that are going to point fingers at the Democrats too and say, what the heck are you doing? Why can't you work with across the aisle and get things done for the good of the people? So we'll see.
We'll be right back.
chooses greetings from our family at the Blues Buffet.
Hey, this is Jay Boogie with the Blues Buffet. You know, Christmas Day is special and so is the music. So get ready for a family feast of sound. It's the special Christmas edition of the Blues Buffet, playing your favorite holiday classics for the entire family. Tune in Christmas Day at 3 p.m. for the best Christmas music mix on the planet. That's on AM 1230 WBOK, what New Orleans is talking about.
This week on The Way Forward, Dr. Samantha Francois of the Foundation for Louisiana will chat with me about the Louisiana Justice Fund, which supports criminal legal system initiatives and reforms. Plus, I'll have your good news, information you can use, and my Go Forward message. Join yours truly, Eddie Francis, Saturday at 3 p.m. on The Way Forward here on 1230 a.m. or streaming live at WBOK1230.com and the Play Ode app on WBOK, what New Orleans is talking about.
Hey, this is D. Riley from the 90s Hits R&B Jams. Make sure you listen to WBOK 1230 AM every Saturday night from 7 until 9 p.m. I'll be giving you the best R&B jams from the 90s. That's right, all your favorites and more. With me, D. Riley, your host of the 90s Hits, right here on WBOK 1230 AM. Or listen online at WBOK1230.com. WBOK, the station you listen to longer.
New Orleans, are you ready for a voice that says what you're thinking? Who that, you might ask? Arrington Gavin. That's right, I'm your guy, host of the Arrington Gavin Show, giving you so much filled with bold opinions, real conversations, and zero sugarcoating. We're going to be diving into the issues that matter, politics, pop culture, and all the above, unfiltered and unafraid. Catch the Arrington Gavin Show weeknights from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., Monday through Fridays, right here on WBOK, what New Orleans is talking about.
WBOK, online at WBOK1230.com.
Happy holidays, y'all. It's your girl, Kimber White Dupree, wishing you a wonderful holiday season. Remember to give and share love. It's the greatest gift of all.
The Arnie and Cary Show with Arnie Philco and Cary Grant.
All right, we're back.
We're back.
Just want to do a reminder, plug Cary. Anybody listening, if you've got a son or daughter in high school in the greater New Orleans area and you'd like to join us on I think it's our 12th annual Civil Rights Sports Trip to Alabama, to Selma, and to Birmingham, and potentially Tuscaloosa. It is scheduled for Saturday, January 17.
Yeah.
And we still have a few seats available. Okay, we're taking one big bus, but it's an awesome trip. And we're going to have some civil rights leaders with us.
Sounds great.
Sports people. So, free trip for your son or daughter. Just go to www.thestartingblocknola.com. You could sign up right on the website, and we'll take care of you. And love to have your son or daughter and really learn about this important part of our history.
Sounds like a great program. I wish my son was in high school. I'd make him go.
Yeah. The other federal thing that I've been following a little bit is we kind of thought redistricting had died down, but California passed. Democrats picked up seats in California. Then Texas had passed. Democrats lost seats in Texas. Then there was a ruling that in Texas we were going to get some of those seats back. That doesn't look like that may happen.
Court's going crazy with all this stuff. So.
And the newest one now is Indiana. Which is deciding in the next few days. It's already passed the state house. Now it's at the Senate. That if it passes in Indiana, the Democrats potentially will lose 2 seats in that state. And, you got other states looking at this still. And, again, this ought to irritate everybody. I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican. This is not how you do this.
This is very out of line. If these things were going to happen, they would have happened a long time ago. This is to try and maintain a majority. And the funny part about, not funny, but ironic part about this is at the same time all of this is going on, it seems like it's around 20 seats, and it seems like 20 Republicans may retire before we get to the new election. So you may end up with the House falling into the hands of the Democrats just because everybody quits, because they don't even want to be there anymore, including the Speaker of the House, who, despite what he's saying, all indications are he may not hang around either, because it seems like it's the worst job in Washington, D.C. It used to be something to be the Speaker of the House.
I
Today
think he
it's not.
likes being in that position.
I'm not talking crazy.
Trump may not
That's what
keep
I'm saying.
him in that position.
What I'm saying is the pressures on him are coming from a lot of different angles. So it's going to be very interesting to see how all of this plays out over the next few weeks. And I will say this again to all listening, everybody out there, if they don't straighten out health care, I don't care who you are as a politician, but mostly people who are on the Republican side, this will be a tough road to hoe come January and February. Just January and February. Yeah. You don't have to worry about going deeper into the year than that, or to these midterm things, which aren't until November.
Well, that's why, I think you got to give some credit to Senator Cassidy because, look, he's in a tough election battle.
Absolutely.
And I'll be honest, I don't see a Democrat challenging in any way for that seat.
Yeah.
So, again, if you're Democrat,
but he could lose within his party.
Well, he could. He could, and that's why you're seeing him work so hard. And I think he also, is genuine about this. Yeah. He sees a better fix to the ACA than maybe the subsidy, just giving a subsidy. But yeah, politically, I think everybody's concerned, and that House is for sure up for grabs next year.
Absolutely. Because, if you have all of these issues, and I know that the economy is straining, and if the economy really starts to recess, which is probably true at least by the middle of next year, if it keeps at the rate that it's going, despite with Trump with his A++ on it, it's not doing that. So I think that at that point, you will have that economic grind that people have been going through for over a year.
Yeah.
And people wrote their pocketbooks on it.
Didn't you hear that affordability is a sham?
Yeah, I heard that.
I think I heard that from somebody.
I think he's absolutely correct that he's a sham.
Yeah. I looked at some of the prices. They started to put price. Like beef has gone up like 3 times the amount.
Yes.
Like to get a hamburger now, McDonald's will be charging $4 in another week
it's
here.
It's incredible how this, and coffee went up, and then they said, well, we didn't realize we didn't make coffee here in this country, so we put these huge there. It's like, great.
Right.
Now 100 Starbucks closed.
Right.
It's like, did they have to close? I doubt if they did.
The good news is that I think I read, I hope I got this right, that beans are down. So in New Orleans, that's a good thing given Mondays in New Orleans.
Well, there'll be many more pots of red beans cooked.
Or a tailgate the next couple weekends.
Absolutely. This is a rough time. Politics is not, Arnie, it's really funny because we started this show and we thought we would talk about politics, but politics is permeating everything in life now. It's literally like you can't turn off the spigot. It's creeping into everything. Unfortunately, like this things with all these ICE raids and everything, it's creeping into education. I heard one of the schools in Kenner, there's 40% less students showing up just because they're scared to death. I've heard of other people talking about practical things. People do yard work, things like that. Some of these people are not even illegal in the least, but they're concerned about being held. And you and I talk about this all the time. That's not American, just to be held on no charges.
Well, you and I, tomorrow night, we're going to lead this. We're going to lead the show with this. But Senator Royce Duplessis said something I thought that was very astute, which is this is a complete sham. All right, this is not about people with criminal records.
Not at all.
There's a quota that's been put on 5,000 people. Right now, I think the numbers I saw over the weekend, less than a dozen of the arrestees
are actually any kind of criminal.
Right.
Any kind of criminal, not like these heinous criminals, just any kind of criminal.
It's just and we saw this again. We saw this. We shouldn't be surprised. We saw it in L.A., Chicago, North Carolina.
Yeah.
So, look, I'm all for, if we want to have National Guard during the holidays, protect the French Quarter and Sugar Bowl, that's fine. That'll help us.
You should always augment security.
But that's not what this is. And by the way, you and I talked over. You said that you were tired of seeing this guy. What's his name? Bovine, right?
Bovine, yes.
Yeah, he's
going to the snack stands at gas stations and there. I like that somebody locked their doors on them and wouldn't let him in. That was the best thing that you could do.
And I said in response to you, "Where's Tom Homan?
Yes,
where's the original guy?
Man. He's not on TV anymore. He was the hard charging. I'm going to get 1 million people. You know, and Arnie, I just want to say
until they found out he took money,
right? The $50,000. But the one thing I want to say about this is about the quota piece. You know, the police are not allowed to have quotas. People always used to ask me that when I worked for the city about having quotas for tickets at the end of the month. The police are not allowed by law to have quotas. So how do you have quotas about, I'm going to pick up 5,000 people? It's just ridiculous and ludicrous.
Stupid.
It really is.
All right. Hope you guys enjoyed the show tonight. Yes. Be safe out there. Cary and I will be back here tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. And we will be elevating our conversation, hopefully. Have a great evening, everyone.
Good night, everybody.